has become instead an instrument of social control. We saw all of this on stark display just last night when we interviewed Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. Johnson has already recovered from COVID, like tens of millions of Americans, maybe over 100 million. Ron Johnson has had the COVID virus and survived. Johnson is not opposed to vaccines. He's had many vaccines in the past. He told us last night he'd be happy to have many more vaccines in the future. He's for vaccines. But in this specific case, Ron Johnson consulted with his physician, who tested him for the antibodies to the virus. And like so many people who have already had COVID and recovered, Ron Johnson has greater natural protection from the virus than any vaccine could give him. So there is no medical reason for him to get the COVID vaccine. People should not take medicines they don't need. Ron Johnson has decided, for these reasons, against getting the shot. Now, that is not a crazy position. In fact, it's an entirely rational position, given what we know. In Ron Johnson's case, it's a much more rational position than getting a vaccine, than taking medicine he doesn't need. That would be reckless and crazy. It would not be science. So this is rational. And probably because it is rational, and because Ron Johnson explained his position so clearly and so calmly and with such reference to actual science, the forces of lunacy decided that they must destroy Ron Johnson before others could hear what he was saying. So here's how MSNBC responded to him last night.
This is Senator Ron Johnson on Fox News Tonight.
People ought to respect other people's freedom and liberty and their ability to choose whether or not to get vaccinated or not. I am concerned now about them trying to push it onto children who, let's face it, they aren't in a position of informed consent. We do need to recognize that this is not a fully approved vaccine.
So, Doctor, I know really smart, educated, substantial people who believe him to be a witting or unwitting asset of Russia who would sound a lot like that in American society.
An asset of Russia. If you choose not to get the vaccine, even on the advice of your physician, taking medical advice from a practicing doctor, then you are working for Vladimir Putin. You're a traitor. You're doing the bidding of a foreign power. You've committed treason. Now, we should point out that those words did not come from Joe Scarborough or that angry race lady who appears in the afternoons on MSNBC. No, that was Mr. Brian Williams himself, America's last living anchorman, the voice of reason, the man who calms you with the truth. Unfortunately, he too has gone insane, as have so many. Here's some guy on CNN calling for people who haven't been vaccinated to be arrested if they try to enter public buildings.
Is that my concern anymore, that someone who's chosen to be unvaccinated is making a bad choice? And question two is, maybe there should be laws that allow them to be kept out of the building.
Well, you've hit right on the point, John. How do we get to a point where we get everyone to be as safe as possible?
Maybe there should be laws that allow them to be kept out of the building, says the Dumbo on TV. They'll say anything. What's amazing is the response from Joe Biden's cabinet secretary. Oh, good point. Oh, good point, Dumbo. You'd like to think that we will look back on all of this, and we're saving the tape for this eventuality, and laugh someday. But we're starting to wonder if that day will ever come. Maybe the fear will never go away. Maybe it's too useful. Maybe anyone who asks questions will be called an agent of Russia, or China, or Syria.